Hello everyone, welcome back to Timberborn. This is episode 5 of the Mega Build Let's Play series. We just got out of a drought, and as you can see, the bad water is returning over from here, and there should be some water spawning right up here, and then it's going to be filling up our reservoir, and then we'll get some more water in the system because you can see there's a couple beavers who aren't pumping any water right now. In the last episode, we started dealing with the food problem. You can see that we got some mushroom setup, or just got a hydroponic garden set up where we're growing mushrooms. And it takes quite a bit of water, so it is perfect timing that we are out of the drought now. Although it didn't give us quite enough mushrooms, we should be getting this fermenter online as soon as the water comes back. And then we'll be able to eat those. And in the meantime, we should look at getting some more of these hydroponic gardens set up. And unfortunately, we will need to remove some of the food. So first off, we'll just unmark this little section for planting. We'll need to actually get rid of this because we'll be placing a couple hydroponic gardens right here and then one right here. But that means that we'll need to place some dynamite in this area so we can get a path going around here. We are also running pretty low on scrap metal. So we can get rid of these two because there are no beavers, or I guess there's no scrap metal for them to collect now. You can see that we are working on getting a mine set up, but it takes a lot of resources, and one of those is treated planks. Unfortunately, we don't have a whole lot. We have 86 right now. We do have a decent amount of pine resin stored up, which is good news, but we will need to wait for this guy to start pumping out some more of those treated planks. And looking at the rate at which they produce treated planks, I think we'll need to get a second wood workshop set up pretty quickly. So we'll start laying the groundwork and then we can go ahead and construct it. And we are starting to get a few unemployed beavers. We don't have a whole lot of jobs for them. We can throw some of them in these inventor's huts, but there's not a whole lot to do. We also need to get another one of these bad water pumps online. I guess we do have a few more of these inventor's huts. Might as well toss them in here for now. Although now we have the number cruncher, and that spits out a lot of science, 10 science every 1 hour. So that's more than actually all of these inventor's huts combined can do. And it does look like we need to get this other engine up and running. We're doing pretty good on logs right now, so we can afford to use them to power these engines. I forgot that we had this guy set to fermented cassavas for now. We don't really have a whole lot of those. I guess we'll let him use some of them up, then we can switch it over to mushrooms. And wow, they got this up and running very quickly. Looks like it's attached. We also want to prioritize this building by haulers. And let's take a look. Yeah, we're not quite at enough power, although you can see the water and bad water volumes are ramping up a little bit. So we actually might be good. We'll have to keep an eye on that. Hopefully it'll get around 1,000. But if we wanted to add another fermenter, then we'll need to add some more power wheels. Looks like we don't have any storage selected for fermented mushrooms, so we're going to switch this fermented cassavas to fermented mushrooms. Storage might be another thing that we can look at getting set up. We have some space over here to make some more storage units. We can also just keep going vertically, although it's going to become kind of inefficient for them to get up there at some point. So we'll get a couple small ones placed down. We do want to make sure that we have room to store some of the raw materials for mushrooms specifically. That way they can start fermenting more, even though they have finished already. Because I think that, yeah, right now we have 5 in there, so they haven't started the fermentation not the fermentation process, just the growing process. So we'll need to clear this out before they can start doing that. And if we have 2 of these small warehouses selected to hold mushrooms, that should be able to hold the full inventory from here. And if we get a second one set up, then we can fit 2 full batches of mushrooms in there. Looks like the beavers harvested all the crops over here, so we can go ahead and move this path. Then we'll have to just get rid of this, and then we can put in some more hydroponic gardens. I think we'll end up doing 2 right now. We'll have them both set to mushrooms, so we're going to have a lot of mushrooms going around. If we were to do algae, we would need the food processor, and we don't have that, or the food factory, but we don't have that unlocked. And then that's also going to be going on top of one of these, but the thing is that we need to have this engine connect in, and there's going to be quite a few buildings over here in the long run. The food right here is going to be moved over into this area, but right now we're using it for trees because we we have a lot of things that we need to build. So we're focusing on getting our wood storages up first. And right now it looks like we have a good amount of wood. So what I'm going to actually do is before it gets to daytime, I'm going to set up this next mega build. Or I guess the next part of the mega build. So we're going to raise this wall up. And then we're going to actually start putting in a couple houses and some breeding pods. We'll move some of these breeding pods down here to be up top. Although I am a little worried about the beavers trapping themselves. So we're going to make sure that we construct everything in a specific order. Okay, we have the priorities outlined. If all goes well, then I'll be able to construct this and there won't be any beavers that get trapped. And we'll be able to actually finish everything because I'm a little worried about them blocking themselves to get access to some of these buildings when they're constructing it. But I did my best and we'll see how it goes. So I'll see you guys in just a second. We made it through mostly unscathed. We did have a little incident. We had a couple beavers trapped themselves over here. Fortunately, we were able to get that sorted out pretty quickly, but if you look in the mega build, which will eventually come out once all the footage is put together, you'll be able to notice a quick little detail where there's a dam built and then it gets destroyed and there's a little bit of wood to collect. So, but it can't be perfect and it didn't make that big of an issue. And while the mega build was going underway, it looks like we have a bunch of mushrooms. These are almost done. They are all almost done. We're gonna need a lot more storage. Maybe we'll have one of these set to raw mushrooms. Then we can switch some of these to other ones later on. We can switch this guy back to fermented cassavas for now. And then once we have the mushrooms popping up, we'll probably have this be a dedicated mushroom fermenter. Then we can look at getting another fermenter over here. Okay, so we're sitting at right about enough power. Unfortunate. Oh, are they? No way. Looks like these guys are maxed out. Let's switch the logs to treated planks. And then we can also unpause this. Start putting some more of those treated planks into this building. We're doing really good on pine resin. Looks like we actually are running low on planks. Let's get a couple more beavers in there. We can go ahead and pause. Well, I guess these should be, yeah, they're all lowest on the priority list, so that should sort itself out in terms of the jobs. And it does look like they are completely out of scrap metal. We can get rid of that. We can't have them collect it, but we only have 10 left. So hopefully they can finish this soon, but we'll need some more treated planks. We are a little low on wood, unfortunately. I don't see a whole lot of trees growing up. They finished chopping all the trees down here, save for a few. But we can get rid of a couple of these breeding pods. Is it just all these ones right here? I think it might be. So let's go ahead and remove some of these. Why is this guy sleeping on the job? What the heck? I have no idea why he isn't just sleeping in a bed. Man, he is sleeping so much. I don't know how he got so low on sleep. And we will need to get some more dynamite in the future because this recipe requires, well, I guess this one, efficient scrap metal collection requires dynamite. You can't see it right now. Well, yeah, and here you can see it though. But we'll also need to have more treated planks and gears. And we're low on gears right now, and then pretty soon we'll be completely out of treated planks. Why are all these beavers just falling asleep randomly? Look at, are they just being crazy overworked? We have it set to 18 hours. Look at, he's tired. Okay, we're just gonna drop it to 16 hours for now. I don't really know why they're all working super hard. And it looks like at the beginning of day 15 we have a bad tide approaching. So we don't have the new bad water diversion system set up yet, but we do have this old one over here. So we'll be sure to get that ready as soon as the bad tide's about to approach. So we can look at getting the next bad water diversion system set up. It's gonna have some levees go over here and then in this direction. Then we'll need to place some levees over here, and then the bad water is going to flow through here and out this direction. We are going to also clear some of this out so the bad water can fill up this area, and we're going to be placing a bunch of irrigation barriers around because we don't want the bad effects of the bad water to spread beyond this little area. We're also going to keep utilizing the bad water here to make power for these buildings. Oh, looks like the beavers are doing pretty well. But I do want to replace these small water wheels with big ones at some point. Right now we do need to keep the production going for the gears and planks because we're pretty low on gears and we don't have enough planks to warrant pausing both of these. And it looks like we can switch this guy back to mushrooms. We have 136 stored up right now. They collected mushrooms from all of these, which is fantastic. Doing a quick resource check. We're doing good on water. We'll probably want to make another water pump at some point. I think I have one set up somewhere up here in, or I guess it's going to be set up here in the mega build. And then wood is slowly climbing up. Food is looking better. We actually have some kohlrabi. And then we have some fermented mushrooms now that we switched this guy back. We have a lot of raw mushrooms ready. And we are completely out of treated planks. They're putting all of them into here. But everything else is looking halfway decent. And we just made it through the bad tide. It was only a day long. Nothing crazy. But we can go ahead and raise this up. And then we'll get some more water flowing back into the system. And now we can actually look at getting the bad water diversion system set up. We'll just need to make sure we have access to everything. We'll need to do it in a couple different waves. So I think we'll get the first one set up right here. So we finished the first part of the bad water diversion system, and we also finished making this efficient mine. And so now we're going to be able to get some more scrap metal. We have some starting up again. We can go ahead and unpause some of the smelters. Start getting the metal blocks up. Although we have quite a bit of metal blocks right now. I think one of the next things we should start looking at is getting bot set up. Although I think that the bot parts are around this area, or the bot part factories are around this area. So we'll probably need to chop these trees down, and that should actually line up pretty well with getting this moved. We'll have the levees go over here in order to have the bad water diversion system actually work. So let's start with that. So we'll just get these trees chopped down, and I think we'll need to make a couple lumberjack flags first. And then once they chop the trees down, we can remove this and we can look at seeing what it takes to get the levees placed in. And we'll also need to turn on the explosives factory again and then unpause this deep bad water pump, because I realized that we were maxed out on bad water since we weren't actually making any dynamite, but now that we are again, we'll want this guy to keep pumping bad water. And we are going to have a bunch of beavers getting injured since this is one of the dangerous jobs. I think it's safe to say we can get rid of some of these inventor's huts for now. I guess just permanently. We don't really need them to make science. We have the number cruncher, and that produces a lot more science than all the beavers combined. So I think we can stick with that. They'll collect all the wood because we're still a little bit low on wood. And then we can also get rid of this forester since we won't be replanting anything over here. We ran out, so this can go back to fermented cassavas. Looks like these three can't quite support making enough mushrooms to feed this guy full time. They're getting pretty close to being ready to start the process over again, but not quite enough right now. And they have just about finished chopping all the trees down, so we can go ahead and get quite a few materials back from this actually. We can also get rid of these two buildings. And then we'll need to relocate these as well. I'm taking a look at it, and I think that we'll be able to get some of these levees set up pretty quickly. We'll just need to get rid of some of the stairs from here because they're going to be removed. I guess I should say they'll be blocked by the levees, so we don't need to have these here anymore, and we can get some good materials from them. And we just finished this in the nick of time. We have only a couple days until the drought appears, although I guess it wouldn't have been that big of a deal since it's not a bad tide. If it were a bad tide and this were still being constructed when it struck, then that could potentially flood this whole system with bad water. And I did end up constructing this one levee short because I didn't want to have to deal with having any of the beavers potentially trap themselves, so we'll just have them finish this one, and then we can place the rest of these, which they won't be able to reach until they come from this side. We'll let them work on this as they have time for. There's enough wood, so they'll continue to make that. It does look like our well-being went up. We're up to 14 now. We do have an unemployed beaver. I guess we can go ahead and throw him in the efficient mine. We'll just bump that up a little bit. We're doing good on scrap metal. Looks like they've made quite a bit We're still doing good on treated planks. I don't know how we have so much pine resin. Since we have so many metal blocks, I think what we're going to do next is look at getting some of the bot part factories set up. We can go ahead and unlock these. And then we'll do the same for the bot assemblers as well. Still plenty of science left. So this is the next project for the mega build. We're going to get bots up and running. We have the bot part factories and the bot assemblers. We have one power source, although this will this will not be enough to support this whole system. We will be connecting it into the larger grid, although I guess, you know, actually, so it does connect in right here. So these are producing excess power that'll help supplement this. We will eventually be getting this to go up here, and then there's a whole power network that's going to be developing up here as well. But we have to start here, so we'll get this underway, and I'll see you in just a moment after the drought hits and after we finish constructing this. And we are done, and you can see that we do have a bad tide approaching, so we have to go ahead and divert the bad water. Although we could try out the new bad water. Well, actually, scratch that, we can't. We don't have this built up enough, so we'll have to go ahead and lower this and then raise these up. By the next time a bad tide hits, we should have this all raised up, and then we can have it start going out in this direction. We do need to start getting some of the irrigation barriers set up. It's in landscaping. So we're going to place those all around the back side, and then we'll have them go along this side underneath here, and then they'll go right over here and here. But we do have everything set up for the bots now. So let's go ahead and connect this in. And we are very short on gears right now, so we'll need to keep that in mind. We also got a couple warehouses set up, and we can transfer some of these. Let's do fermented mushrooms in this one, and then we'll do some cassavas in the other. And that should free up some of these. We can move that to something else. And that is where we're going to wrap up today's episode. If you enjoyed the video, go ahead and smash that like button. I really do appreciate it. And with that, we will see you in the next episode. Thanks for watching.